Go to start with the pledge, and then he said he'll suspend the meeting to let them talk.
We're going to call our meeting to order. We're going to start with a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. Please stand. Turn off your phone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We're going to start the meeting by suspending the meeting. We have a special guest, Jack Mariano, our county commissioner, is here, and we're going to let him do his spiel. And go ahead.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I would tell you, when I was invited by Jack to come out here, in a wealth of enthusiasm, I forgot that we had switched our commission day from Tuesday to Wednesday to make that happen. So my assistant Sonia, who we think so much of this place, she was out here on her own time, working the polls for us. She saw the time for 1 o'clock coming in. I go, wait a second, how are we gonna make this work? So it's my fault that I'm not gonna be able to stay long, but I couldn't change the meeting date from the county. We gotta go back there for 1:30 public hearing. But I do want to say that I brought my team here that's going to explain to you what's going on. And to kind of lead with that, just to tell you what's happened in the past several years. As you guys know, paving assessments are very hard to get approved, especially on the areas where Seniors are involved. It's, people tight on budgets and we just don't can get the support sometimes. It's also a very expensive way to do it. With all the paperwork costs and all the things that go involved, it actually drives up the cost of roads about 30% more. So the commission right now has a program, and we haven't fully approved what the funding will be yet, but to do a funding through just a regular taxation on your properties, period. They would buy funding, kind of like that happens up north a lot. They just put in your taxes and it gets paid, so you don't get any extra assessments. You don't have to worry about it, it gets in there. That program has been set up to go in front of the board. We're going to look at what approvals we want to go forward. What that will do for you guys, and Ainsley's going to give you some good news, I believe, as far as you guys are up there pretty high on the list to get done, but it'll take away the guesswork. It'll take the time delays to get the projects done. Now, when we had done the improvements in Timber Oaks, we did the whole thing around. We didn't assess anybody, we just did it. But I know like San Clemente, we tried to do an assessment in there, it didn't work. And right now the roads need it. So we're gonna go look at the roads, we're gonna go look at the whole thing and try to get you in. The funding, the way it comes out, will be assigned by the board, approved by the commission with our influence. And I will say I'll be fighting hard for you to get your roads done very quickly. And it looks like they're already on top of that, which he'll explain to you. But with that said, that MSTU is coming up, it's key, because if it doesn't happen, then we got to go pay the assessment away. I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. Those of you may not think it's fair to make a switch for those that have paid it. Anybody who's paid a paving assessment and is, let's say, still paying it, is going to get prorated back the money if they prepaid it. And if they were paying one, the payment's going to end up. So it's going to be fair for everybody around the county. But to me, it's a lot better way to go. It's a lot fairer way to go. And it's a lot easier way to go. Less paperwork to get more work done, very economically. So before I turn it over to my staff, because I do have to leave in about 6 minutes or so, is there any questions that you may have for me or any concerns that you might want to bring to my attention I can share with my board later? Yes.
I live in a village that was paid, did get an assessment. I paid it in full out of pocket rather than making payments. So I don't get a cut on that, correct?
No, you will. If you paid it up front, if let's say it's a 10-year payment and you're.
No, I didn't make 10-year payments. I made one payment.
Right. But if let's say if it was scheduled for like 10 years worth of payments and those numbers were set up to go for those that are making payments, your payments or those payments there would stop for those people, but the people that did pay would get that prorated number back to you. So it's still going on. You will get reimbursed for that. There's a form to fill. We have to coordinate that with you and they can talk about it as well. But that was part of it because we didn't want anyone being taxed twice. And I'd say you can thank tax collector Mike Fasano for bringing those points out because we as a board wanted that to happen. Mike, Mr. Tax Collector, our senator, former senator, he actually brought those points up and we addressed it back, made sure that everyone like you was going to get not double hit. So be fair. Yes, sir.
Our roads. Where's that money gone?
With the first penny, all the road projects that we had done, and you remember the economy dropped in 06, 07, we did all the road projects that we had specified what was going to get done. And because of the drop in price that was going on, we added about 30% more projects. So that old penny's been spent, it's been done. The new penny, the way it was just approved, is more about trails for that. So the new penny didn't include that part of it, but that money was spent as said. And then again, we did like 30% more roads that we're very happy to do to actually stretch that penny out. That first penny was done. Well, there's another penny that was approved, but the penny has changed 3 times now. We added economic development money in it as well, and now we structure how we're going to spend it as far as the transportation goes. Yes.
We have culverts, and we have property from culvert to culvert, street to street, that is sinking, and they thought it was sinkholes, but it's actually the culvert piping that is creating the holes. So is this going to be addressed in our community also?
If there's culvert issues, Ainsley, we can get with Jason, get with the stormwater team, or that. So we'll take a look at those, and before we did any paving, we actually check those out, especially before we did that. It's part of what we do for maintenance. But we will go through, if anybody wants to identify any specific areas you can see in concern, that'll be helpful, but we will go take a look at it. But your help would be great with that. Yes.
As you're considering the repaving of our neighborhood, are you also going to consider the fact that many of us don't have sidewalks? And so with an elderly population, we're not only looking at cars using the road, but we're also looking at people tripping.
We could add that to take a look at it. All right, so right now, the way it lists, we're not doing new sidewalks, we're taking care of existing.
Oh, no, we don't have sidewalks. So we're
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, I tell you, like I said, when Jack asked me about coming out here, and I knew we had trouble getting these assessments passed because of the votes that were done. So I wanted to exactly come here to try to help you, listen to what you have going on, but those pictures are helpful. And again, my staff here, I think, has got some good news for you to say how it's important. And we know it's important to get you guys done as well.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
You mentioned sidewalks and repairs. Now, I've been having trouble with talking with the county. They're telling us the sidewalks within Timber Oaks are our problem because an agreement was not signed with the developer and the county to take over the maintenance of these sidewalks.
So generally speaking, we don't take care of them. We'll have to look at the exact scenario here. What we could do is if, let's say we found a lot of sidewalks that need to be worked on, we could actually work it to put it into a work package, but there may be some costs involved. We'll have to look at that. Because we definitely don't make, but we just, over in Beacon Woods, they had a bunch of sidewalks that had to be replaced. People had to take care of those. So we can take a look at it. We want to do things differently. So we can take a look at it and see how we can incorporate.
One other quick question. I know you're time pressed. I had sent you some emails that I had traded with county personnel about drainage over on Wabash. And you said you were going to look into that. Have you had a chance to do so?
I haven't got a report back yet, but you can make note of that.
Yeah, because I can't get, we're working on it. I'll get back
And
to you.
it does take time to go through with all the things you got to look at, but it's the reason I love to do emails, folks, is that email is trackable, time-wise, results-wise, and I can always go back to it. Yeah, so if you would, just do a follow-up email to us, and then just say, can you give me an update? Okay. I'll just tickle it and make it work quicker. Yes.
Now, are we going to tax on all of Timber Oaks roads or rather than all the tax on liability?
So what the MST, they call it an MST, multiple service, the benefit is MSTU? Okay. So municipal services taxing unit. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to be assessed for their property based upon value. It'll be X number of dollars. It won't be to a neighborhood, et cetera. And then it just gets done. There's no extra assessments coming after that to do the roads. One here and then Mark behind.
Thank you. Our little village got repaved last year. Our HOA, we paid for it. It's included in our monthly HOA. Is there any type of credit for that? Because I can't imagine you guys coming in and repaving what was just paid last
You're
year.
not a county board.
Pardon?
You're not a county street.
That's okay. I'll tell you what.
Okay, so
Well, there may be, because, frankly, we had one group, Timber, Heritage Pines, Heritage Springs, actually, when assessments was being done in all of Fox Hollow, they actually had their association collect the money, and it was only like a 67% or so of the price because they collected it that way. So if you would get into that information before it goes to, I don't know if we allocate anything for that, but I could probably look into doing that because it would make sense that you would get reimbursed if you pay for that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So it didn't come up in any conversation, but I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Victor and I'm a member of Timber Oaks, but I got a specific question concerning the project that's going to affect Jasmine Boulevard. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they're proposing to put in a bicycle cart path and widen the sidewalk. I attended the meeting, saw the proposal, but I still have questions about the safety of the project that I bring to your attention that I think still needs to be studied about the speed of traffic that's traveling on Jasmine alone. they showed us that there are going to be some speed retardants, if you will. But that's everything from La Madeira to 19. But once you pass La Madeira going to Little, there's very little resistance to slow down. And I think that needs to be addressed because I'm a victim of an accident just 2 years ago where a car lost control, a driver lost control. I was in the backyard and I merely missed being killed by the car coming through my fence. So every one of us that live with the backyard facing Jasmine have that daily threat. And I think just to bring it to your attention, that if you could address the powers that be to study further, adding more traffic retardants from our entrance here to Little. Please help us out.
Okay, so I was at that meeting as well. I think maybe I got there a little bit after you, but I was there for the meeting. I watched all the slides and et cetera. We talked about extensively, and you're right. There's a lot of improvements from that up to Maricopa, even a little bit after that. I'm not sure what they're looking at, but did you make your comments on the sheet there?
Yeah,
And they're gonna get looked at, but I will bring it up again.
but again, that's a major project from Maricopa to 19. Those residents here, I feel sorry for them. They're gonna be losing so much frontage.
But like the benefit is, especially if any of those kids are going to the school or anybody walking, instead of walking on the street, now you get a sidewalk. It's a tremendous benefit. And I'll tell you, it's hard to get a sidewalk project done. I've had other sets that have been sitting for 15, 20 years, but because of what's around the area, that it warranted it to be done and get funded. And actually doing it, I think, in a very safe way, across the board. And it's a great benefit to get all that funding without having to spend our local tax dollars that comes from DOT. So I'm very happy with that project, but we will look at those safety concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have to go, folks, but please, Sonia, my aide is right here. She's phenomenal. These guys are awesome too. They'll give you an update exactly what's going on, but if you have any questions at all, just email me, send it through, and I'm happy to answer them all. And I greatly appreciate you guys. You've always been great, and I've tried to work with you. Thank you. Thank you.
I can just real quick finish addressing your question that you had on the sidewalk project, the trail project. I can confirm that there are going to be 2 additional pedestrian crossings that are elevated that act as speed tables. One is going to be on the east side of Palm Lake, the entrance to Palm Lake. The other one's going to be on the east side of Grove. So those 2 additional speed tables, because I happen to live in Palm Lake, so I'm very familiar with your situation. We've had the same situation with a car crashing into a backyard in Palm Lake as well. That the traffic that gets up to 40 miles an hour, that sometimes doesn't slow down when they come up upon the Palm Lake and Timber Oaks entrances to the curb, they will be forced to slow down, and we think that that'll improve safety drastically.
There's nothing from Grove to Little.
Yeah, and we've talked with staff about addressing and looking at that issue, how we can reduce the speed in that area as well.
There is another street further down.
No, between Grove, it's just driveway entrances between Grove and Little Road.
But there's no crossing from Grove.
Not at this point, and part of why they looked at that and didn't put additional crossings there is there will not be another trail on the south side of Jasmine. At that point, it will only exist on the north side where we currently have a sidewalk from Walgreens. And I'm sure they will, that they thought that the homes that are on that south side, that there wasn't enough pedestrian traffic coming from them onto the trail, where that was a major concern. But I will have staff look into that further. Okay, Ainsley, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the MSTU. Or do you want to, Chris? All right, here's Chris.
So shy. Hey, everybody, almost feel like a comedian. What's the deal? My name's, can you guys hear me?
No.
Okay, I don't want.
No.
You can do it close.
Close, okay. I have a bad issue of yelling at these things, so, my name's Chris Hanning. I'm a senior roadway engineer with, the Public Works Department. I work hand in hand with, Ainsley. He's the one that does all the hard work, getting the vendor out here to pave these roads and such like that. Commissioner Mariano kind of asked me to kind of explain, I guess, the difference between the old PVAS system and everybody getting assessed to pave the road, and then this new MSTU kind of thing. And it's basically just a different funding mechanism, so to speak. So the selection of roads was basically done by folks like yourself. You know, they take it upon themselves to contact Ainsley and his team and start a ballot, and they want their road paved, so they're willing to be assessed thousands of dollars and pay it out over time. The problem with that is that there's no scientific or data basis for when that road gets paved and when it doesn't. It's all up to who wants to pay for it, basically. So this new system with our MSTU, we are putting in place a pavement management system that we have some very impressive software. We have a database full of all the roadway conditions that are county maintained in the county. We use that data along with other things such as safety, traffic, the surrounding land use, a couple of other things. We put that into our program, and it gives us a big list of roads that we can do based on what the commission sets the budget for us. That way, we are much more efficient and effective in our paving. Plus, this MSTU will generate hopefully a lot more funding for us to pave roads. So the PVAS system that's been in place for a while, unfortunately, has left the roads in the county in, I don't want to say poor shape, but there has been some neglection that's been going on, and this is going to give us the opportunity to not only try to repave and restore roads that are in a poor condition, but we're also implementing a preventative maintenance strategies to extend the life of the road. So generally, we have about 18 to 20 years for a paved road. If you don't touch it by then, it's typically gone downhill and started to fail. It needs to be milled and resurfaced, or maybe even fully reconstructed. But we are implementing a couple of preventive maintenance strategies so that we can extend that life farther and farther. Like one of the ladies said that their road was just paved, but she was on a private road.
It was actually sealed and we filled in the holes and we sealed it.
Sealed it, okay.
We did not completely.
Gotcha,
pave it.
gotcha.
That was my fault.
No worries. It's a good treatment. It'll help last for a while. But for newly paved roads, we can come in and add an asphalt rejuvenation that'll extend it a number of years. We can come in shortly after that and put down almost the same sort of thing, like a little seal coat. We call it microsurface. It's basically just a very thin layer of asphalt. Kind of seals all the cracks that have formed over, say, the first 5, 7, 8 years of the new asphalt's life. And then hopefully the objective is to keep the good roads as good as we can for as long as we can, while we manage to bring up bad roads into a good condition. With that said, I asked for a little bit of patience, I guess, from the community. As I mentioned, there are a lot of roads in this county that need work. I will say our current draft plan, we produce a 3-year work plan of roads in the county that we plan on rehabbing. There are, I think it was 8 or 10 roads in this neighborhood, community Timber Oaks, that are in that plan right now. Now please understand that may change. It's all about the money, and Commissioner Mariano and the board sets that budget for us. So if they give us more, that'd be outstanding. I think Ainsley and his crew could probably pay as much as we can get them. But they may actually even kind of chop it down a little bit from what we're planning on right now. So we do have, I just want to reassure everybody that we do have a process in place that's fair and objective and equitable as possible to take care of everybody in the county. I'd love to come in here and spend a whole year's worth of budget and getting everything in Timber Oaks together, but unfortunately, I can't. So I hope I explained things okay. We're moving from old Pasco to new Pasco now with this new MSTU. We're trying to fix some things that maybe weren't keeping up with what needed to be done in the past. So again, have a lot of work ahead of us. We're excited. I know Ainsley loves to pave. That's all he talks about. So I'm trying to get him as much money as I can and give him a big old list of roads to go out there and do. And I will say that as soon as the Board of Commissioners sets the actual millage rate for this new MSTU and we get a solid budget number for next year, we will be publishing the list, the 3-year list of roads in our work plan on the internet for everybody to see. Then you'll see exactly which roads we're tackling around the country, or around the county. Yes, sir.
Well, with that list, I hope that I would find the street that I live on at the top of it. Because right now, we're running on thin skin over gravel. And whatever patching you're doing, like the good book says, they're sewing new cloth on an old garment.
Absolutely.
It's not working.
Absolutely.
We're down to gravel. So whatever you're doing to patch, first rain comes, we're shoveling the gravel.
What's the name of the street you live on, sir?
Winding Wood Drive.
Winding Wood?
Winding Wood Drive.
Okay, Winding Wood. Thank you. Yes, ma'am? There are two, what I've been told is that there's a board budget hearing on the 3rd of September in Newport Richey, and then the 17th in Dade City. So there's 2 more hearings about the budget on the 3rd of September at 5:15, I think, in Newport Richey, and then the 17th over in Dade City.
I think it's the reverse.
Dade City is the first.
I'm sorry. Dade City is the 3rd, the 17th will be Newport Richey. Yes, sir.
Budget hearing, you mentioned, so when does millage rate go in?
That's the same time.
Yeah, that's the same time. That's what you're setting is basically the millage rate. Yes, sir.
On Ranch Road, you're talking about putting sidewalk between Maricopa and 19. Is there anything that's going on Ranch Road as far as a sidewalk?
That's actually the Transportation Engineering Department. That's not Public Works, but we do share information, and I do not recall seeing anything for Ranch Road. Yeah, they're actually sending us plans for new sidewalks almost daily. I mean, it's amazing how many sidewalks they're putting in around here. So I'll get your name and number afterwards, and an email, and I'll double check for you and let you know. That'd be okay? Okay.
Regarding Ranch, my understanding is the sidewalks is part of it because there's concerns about the kids getting to school. So that was a big concern of the commissioners. I just want to touch on a couple of points really quickly. Regarding stormwater in Oak Forest Village, I've been working on that since June. There is a plan on that one section that goes between a couple houses on Salamanca for a pipe relining. I am pushing to get that pushed up. So it wasn't scheduled to actually be relined or replaced until next year. I'm trying to get that done sooner because I know there's an issue. And stormwater at the very least is looking on shoring that area up. Just because there is timing involved with getting that project done because of the design work. Yes, sir? Well, not to today's standards, but from back then when they were built, they were probably acceptable. Yeah.
I built roads back
in that Pacific 5 coast either.
Well, that I don't know how to address because that's, No, I understand, sir, I understand. There was a lot of roads that were brought up, and Commissioner did receive an email here regarding, and I think, Jack, I think you sent it to us. There was 20 roads within Timber Oaks on this list, and staff does have this list and is evaluating. Winding Wood is also on this list, just to confirm that. So the issues on Wabash with the drainage, reach out to me in Commissioner's email and also copy me on that email, and I'll have staff look into that and see what we can resolve with that issue. Any other questions? Ainsley, did you have anything to say? Okay.
You have one up here on the board to be answered.
For me or for him?
Go.
Sidewalks. When the water project was done, when the county purchased our old prior golf course, and they have property. Anyway, they put new sidewalks in. They're not maintaining them along by Ranch Road. There's sand about this deep. They were mowing today and the workers were blowing the grass off, but there's still a lot of sand on there. I know Jack has personally sent our maintenance staff out to maintain that. It's not our job. I mean, I
can look into that issue as
I
well.
would appreciate that. And the other thing is limbs from palm trees and things are over the sidewalk. And that's another issue.
I'll address that with our planner schedulers team as soon as I get back in the office. I'm going to leave a stack of Commissioner Mariano's business cards right up here. So if anybody would like to grab one and take that and reach out to the commissioner, his email and his cell phone number on the front. And on the back, you'll see both myself and Colleen Weaver. We are both his legislative assistants, but I'm the one that deals with this community. So please reach out to me if there's anything that you need. Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. There was a question about a pipe under a road that probably collapsed and needs to be looked at.
That's on Salome.
Okay. As part of this program, we do inspect all of the pipes under the roads, all the inlet boxes before we do anything. Just for that reason, if the pipe's failed, it needs to be replaced. Last thing we want to do is go pay something and then find a bad pipe and then have to tear up a new road. So we always, we use our list, the list I was mentioning that we're going to try to publish October 1st. And then the next year we'll go out and have all the pipes inspected, and whatever needs to be changed, will change prior to that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you were just talking about that. We've got some trees here that are on County Road that the tree roots are going under the sidewalks. I mean, under the roads itself. Are y'all gonna ever take care of that too?
We can look into that as well. Yeah. If it's tearing up the road, then
Yeah, we've
as much as I
definitely
don't like to say it, the tree might have to be removed or something like that. So, yes, ma'am.
Yes, you talked about repairing the pipe. There was a leak between the road and the sidewalk. It's bordered my property. This wasn't the first time that the county fixed the leak there. And, but the sidewalk is down. Like one section is my neighbor's, the one is mine, and it's like this. The county didn't fix that. I don't feel that us fixing that sidewalk should be our responsibility if it was the county.
Yeah, if it's county right away, county maintained, we'll look into it. Can you give me your road, please?
No, I live at Cactus Street Drive.
Cactus
Street Drive.
Okay. I'll write that down.
Just to speak to that issue, I'm working with staff on that because what the commissioner would like to see done is when they do that pipe replacement there, are you talking on Salamanca? Oh, which street are you on? Okay, make sure you grab a card and email me on that and we'll have staff look at that. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
No, we took care of that part. That, we contacted engineers, road,
Yeah, Tanya, I work with Tanya very closely. Now, the difference is with a lot of your HOA communities, the maintenance rights in certain areas, like could be your streets, it could be your stormwater, it could be other issues, becomes a responsibility of the HOA depending on how the developer turned those maintenance rights over. So if from the beginning, it was the HOA or the community private responsibility for that maintenance, that it remains that way. If ever there was a situation, and we have had this happen, where there's a larger community impact regarding stormwater issues and other similar projects, that communities have petitioned the board to take it into maintenance. That typically is a cost-based issue, but also community impact issue. If it's something that's impacting the community as a whole, it's a more priority situation. If it's affecting a handful of neighbors, that could be totally different. Because the whole purpose is the larger community-based impact projects. If it's a culvert issue, again, Commissioner Mariana's business card's up here. Email the commissioner, copy me. My email address is on the back. I'm Sonia. So please reach out to us. And there's a lot of things. I'm sure you have many, many questions, and I know your board meeting has to continue. So we don't want to hold you up all afternoon. So that's why I brought the cards. And please reach out to me, and I'm happy to address every single one of your issues and have the right staff person look into it and get an answer for you.
Ma'am.
Yes.
One more quick question. You were just saying that a lot of this depends on how the developer left this with the county.
And it's not just with Timber Oaks, it's
Right,
many
but I mean, now
communities.
that it's been over 20-something odd years, how would we go about, well, 40 years, how would we go about changing it now? I mean, is there a way we can do it?
I
now
can
to
look
change it with
into
the
that
county?
matter, but typically if it's established that way, if the HOA is still active in collecting dues, part of the responsibility of those HOA fees is for certain maintenance items. Where we usually will take something into maintenance is in the case where there is no longer an active HOA. So no funds are being collected and saved for what we call capital improvement projects. So like a lot of Jasmine Lakes was at one point HOA governed and is no longer. I think Timber Oaks, Palm Lake, my community, and Jasmine Trails are the last three remaining active HOAs in the whole Jasmine Lakes area. So we're pretty much on our own, even my community. So we do put those capital dollars aside. So we have certain things that we maintain and certain things the county maintains because of how our development agreement was set up and our maintenance agreements were set up with the county. So it really depends on the association. Yes, ma'am.
If we are having that HOA, that we're responsible for our own roads and we have done things, are we going to be assessed and have to pay money if it's not us?
Well, keep in mind, in my understanding, and Chris and Ainsley, you may be able to verify this more, this whole purpose of the MSTU is not just to maintain your private road, but also the roads that you as a private citizen have to access to get to wherever you need to go.
The only problem is we have the HOA and we are already now assessed for our roads.
Now, if your HOA is doing that, that's between you as the resident and the HOA. Because we're talking I'm just talking about the roads right now, and I could get additional answers on the roads.
It scares me. You know, we
See,
have
think of the MSTU. Yes, but think of the MSTU. MSTU stands for Municipal Service Tax Unit. So what we're doing is the assessment comes across and it looks like a lien from the property appraiser. This will not. This is just going to be a line item depending on the value of your home for just a flat amount on your tax bill every year. And it's not going to be a major, huge, giant $2,000, $3,000 assessment at one time. It's going to be a small increase, and you might only see a difference of maybe $10, $15 every month if you pay it monthly or pay it in escrow. Okay. And then staff here can get you that actual cost. I think we've got that provided on the page on our website.
South Florida, that all that happened in South Florida, the governor decided
Well, I can't speak to the HOA laws because I'm not an HOA expert.
Well, no, the one that he just, governor just signed, but a month or 2 months ago, he signed, I don't know, I think he signed it, that for HOAs to take more responsibility for upgrading, but this is more the condos.
And honestly, I don't deal, that's not my area of expertise. So if you have a specific question, I don't know that it's anything that the county attorney's office could answer, but you can email me that question and I'll look into it. Yeah, but either way, the county does not have any regulatory authority over over HOAs. So we don't regulate HOAs. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any plan to widen into Rose Lane? Because that's a very serious issue for residents in Forest Green. We cannot get back into our village during drop-off and pickup times at school at the day spring. And if I can't get home, neither can an ambulance get into for one of us. It took me 20 minutes to get from Spanish Gate to Forest Creek into my house the other day.
At Public Works, we are strictly a maintenance entity.
Okay.
The Transportation Engineering Department are the ones that do widenings and street improvements. And, yes, Transportation Engineering Department.
Okay.
We call them TID. It might be a little easier for you to remember, but and actually, what was the name of that street you were talking about?
Timber Oaks Lane.
Timber Oaks Lane.
Coming off of Little Road.
Actually, they were back beyond.
Coming off
Oh,
of Little Road.
okay.
Yeah, it's Pond Road.
And
We'll
they
take a
back
note.
off they back off.
That's not good.
Okay. We'd also let the folks know, Tanya McCabe for Public Works here. She left me a stack of cards for anybody that has issues with storm drainage or things like that. So if you want it, come up and grab it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tanya's great to work with. She's in Public Works and she's kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to drainage issues and stuff like that. So grab a card, send her an email. All right, well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Hope it was informative enough.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Start with roll call, Debbie. Can you hear me now? Start with roll call. Give us a minute.
Everybody wants some of that, huh?
If there isn't one, I'm gonna.
Oh, thanks.
Please take your seats so that we can continue with the meeting. Get a card after the meeting.
You can hear me.
Ed. I'm on, I got a green light.
Ready?
She said, Mr. Ernst had left this with me. She said, make sure he gets Jack's card about that path.
Ready?
Roll call.
Yes, sir. I have Donna Mosier,
Here.
Eileen Dunn, Susan Muniac,
Here.
Paula DePace, Bill Heidenreich, Jennifer Smiley, Lemay Nyford,
Here.
and Ed Weiner.
Here. Proof of notice, Jack?
Proof of notice was posted on Monday.
Okay, disposition of prior meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay, we have two separate minutes.
I'll do this one for the July 17th board meeting here.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay,
I make a motion that we approve the private meeting on personnel matters from that same date, July 17th, as written.
have a second?
Anybody else here?
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved? Carried. Okay. Treasurer's report. Motion would be in order to accept the treasurer's report as passed out at the door.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Manager's report.
Hello, everyone. I'll just start this report out by letting you know.
Can't hear you.
Hello? Can you turn me up, Mark?
You're up.
Hello? I'd have to swallow it. Just to let you all know that one of our maintenance tech, Nick Young, resigned, and we are now in the process. The gentleman that Mark and I interviewed was down at Resource today, filling out all the paperwork for the background check. He was going to the lab to get his drug test done. Once all that's complete, we'll bring him on board under a 90-day probationary period. So just want to make that clear. Okay, during the week of July 18th, Nick Donald, speaking of Nick, worked on painting the front edge of sidewalks, which he has completed that entire project. On July 18th, Nick and Mike went out in the dinghy, which I affectionately call the SS Timber Oaks, and cleaned out the pickup screens for the source pump for the pool geothermal pump units in an attempt to alleviate flow issues. We may have to put a larger pickup screen basket to improve the flow. We also found a restriction, but we did put the larger basket on the pickup and actually improved the flow by 5 gallons a minute. We're still trying to get a hold of AquaCal to get out here and address the issues of the geos that keep kicking off. We've done everything we can in-house, adjusting valves in accordance with what the instructions that they gave us. The gentleman has not been very responsive to Mark. He's not answering his phone, and he doesn't evidently check text messages. So I sent him a rather unfriendly email saying they need to step up their game and get a tech out here immediately.
This is still under warranty, is that correct?
Yes, and that's the problem. We're stuck with this vendor while under warranty.
Right. Better Business Bureau, Breton. Seriously.
I did send him quite a nasty gram telling him that I'm upset, the board of directors are upset, and they need to get out here and address this now.
Thank you.
Also, I completed my 15 hours of required continuing education. Every 2 years I have to do this, so I renewed my CAM license. I'm good for another 2 years. We had to call Amen Air out for the Gym AC, which had trip breaker. The condenser coils were extremely dirty. The tech cleaned the coils, brought the amperage draw down. It was also a little low on refrigerant, so they added some. Been working fine since. Mike and Mark continued to throw sod down the bare areas, including some of the Lavadera entrance. The bare areas I'm referring to is parking lots that changed. I think we pretty much got all of that taken care of. On July 24th, the spa air pump went out that controls the jets. At the time, I believed it was under warranty. They told me, no, it wasn't under warranty, and that the new one they installed is now under warranty. So let's see how that goes. They tried to tell us that if the switch that you turn on to turn on the spa, if it gets stuck and runs longer than it's supposed to, that will overheat the air pump and thus burn it out.
And it was doing that.
Yeah, and Mark did change out the switch. And we have to do that quite frequently, I believe. It's because people are just kind of abusive when they're cranking on it.
Well, we also found that by using those switches were a lot less money than the original one. So we can replace that probably 20 times before we'd even pay for the larger one, the one that came with it.
Right. And I did look online for some timer start stop buttons online, waterproof, juice. There weren't that many options.
No.
And that particular model was one of the most common that came up. Also, the card room AC had to be serviced. It required a new capacitor and a condenser unit coil cleaning. On July 30th, the crew dug a hole for the new flagpole. I'm sure you've all seen it out there. On July 31st, boys mixed up, how many bags of concrete was it?
40.
40 bags of concrete. That's what the specifications for the pole installation called. We actually rented a mixer. And you set the sleeve in that you then set the pole in. So that's all done. On the 22nd, the electrician's going to come out and run the lighting out there for the pole and the monument that was already included in the proposal originally. And we're going to get them to actually add us an extra hot plug out there. So we have a full-time hot plug where you don't have to turn on the lights to turn on the plug of a dot. On August 1st, the crew worked on clearing out the underground drains that the gutters and downspouts flow into out here in the front of the community center. Some of them got clogged up, so they got all that stuff clogged up. We actually ran with the drain outflows over here towards the storm drain. We found it was just buried in the ground, pipe to nowhere. Nick actually dug down, cut into the pipe, and we dropped it directly in. We're still having a little bit of a flow problem getting all the water out. I don't know if it's just too much water going there, or we're gonna jet those lines with a special thing we got for the hose. See if there's any debris left in there that needs to be cleaned out. But it's still a work in progress. After Tropical Storm Debbie, we still had plenty of stormwater storage capacity. Lake did come up quite a bit, but nothing dangerous. The crew cleaned up a lot of small tree debris around the clubhouse. The pool and spa had to be pumped down. There was no significant damage. Nick worked on replacing the burned out light fixtures in the office, changing ballast and bulbs. Some of it was switched over to the new LED system, so more efficient. I already mentioned that the crew installed the flagpole. And also that on the 13th, Mark and Mike put the larger pickup screen on the lake, and we gained 5 gallons a minute there. Oops. As I mentioned here, Mark has put several calls and texts into the Geo people, and they have been responding. And as I mentioned, I got a little testy with them. Hopefully get a little bit better response. On August 13th, Mike and Mark had to clear a large fallen limb from Ponderosa, which is right over here, which was blocking a lane on one side of the island. The passing cars did not seem to care about our staff's well-being as they drove by at high rates of speed and coming really close to our crew. It was just idiotic. Yeah. Okay, and on the final note, August 28th is when the paving company is coming back to redo the east parking lot. It's going to be closed off starting on the 28th. They're going to be doing some milling, repaving, trying to correct the drainage issues that they didn't get right the first time around. And that's all on their dime, not ours. They had to pay for a new survey to have that done, make sure it gets done properly. And the engineer met with them and went over all the changes that had to be made to make it right. I apologize for the inconvenience, but we're still holding like $87,000 of their money that they're not going to get until it's completely done and signed off on. As for violations, we had 127 resolved and 50 new, including driftwood. 136 new notices went out. Linda went out again today. I'm not sure of the count on what she did. That concludes my report. Any questions?
The palm tree right outside this door here that was removed because of damage. Do we have plans? Are you replacing that with anything? I know we should not put another palm in. Maybe just continue the plants that are out there, but it's kind of bare at that end.
Okay, I'll talk to Mike. He's the plant man, and I'm sure you can figure out something, maybe another bird of paradise or something.
The flag that's on that flagpole that is put up looks amazing. So kudos to the group that did that. They did a really good job.
That was like I said, that was all our group. They manhandled that pole into place.
Yeah, great.
We were gonna get a bucket truck from Three Seasons, and the guys were like, we can do it. And they went ahead and got it done out there. So we're just waiting on the electric, and we'll hang the flag permanently once we have proper lighting.
Wonderful. La Madeira entrance, I don't know if anyone else here has noticed, it's looking so good. And I want to thank Mike for that. He has done a great job around here with all of the plants and keeping everything up to date. And with the sod that was put down, it looks really good. And I think we finally have a plant that people aren't stealing. But it seemed like every time we put something in, someone came and took it.
Yeah, they've been hanging in there. Nobody's pulled up and loaded up a truck yet.
Yeah. I also want to say something about the drainage. After the tropical storm that we had, Debbie, we had a lot of rain. And I don't know about the rest of you, but if you've been here before, we redid all this drainage through the help of the engineer. And I know we had a lot of complaints about using an engineer, but this is the first time it's worked. So, I think from now on, you do it right or you don't do it at all. So I was real happy with that.
Eileen?
Turn it on. Turn it on. Okay, hold it right up to your mouth. Swallow it. Put it up. Put that right up. What number do you have?
Should say, what number it is.
16. 15.
Yes, 15.
You try again?
Now?
Okay.
Now it's working, okay. Could we look into the price of a bench over at the flagpole?
Well, the response I saw to the email requesting benches is wait till everything's done, and we revisit whether we need a bench out there or not.
Oh, I thought it's all done. No?
No. Lighting.
We're not done, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and once the electricity's run, then we get the volunteer concrete company to run the sidewalk out there to it, and then that will be complete.
Oh, when you get done, maybe you can look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak?
Let's speak.
I want to speak on an item that on the
You have
veterans.
a question for the manager?
Yes. And probably you guys too, of course. Yeah. I was just wondering, the Veterans Memorial is looking quite good. I'm glad to see the flag went up because when it first went up, I drove around with my daughter and I said, where the heck is it? I said, it's here somewhere. Drove around again. And then not realizing it was just a slab of concrete. And then I was glad to see that you're putting the flag up, but there hasn't been any, I was going to ask the same question, what the total of this memorial has charged us. I thought there was a certain amount that you allotted them to do, and it obviously is costing a lot more than we planned.
No,
Originally you said 10,000 or something, but we haven't been getting any ongoing figures about what it has.
We can do that when everything is completed, Ellen.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna.
But it is not
It's
costing
it's
more
not
than what
running
was
over
allowed.
budget from what was approved.
Because it was funny when we drove around, I said, where the hell is that thing, you know? So, but I think the bench would add something to it. Yeah. I think.
Actually, just want to say this, actually, we saved $2,000 by our guys installing that flagpole and doing the concrete work themselves.
All right. Anything else for the manager? Shall we move on?
Sure.
The art committee.
Ed Heber for the Art Committee. We received 17 requests. All 17 were accepted.
I make a motion that we approve the 17 approved by the committee.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, we have committee reports. First one on my list is Live Oaks.
Patty's coming.
Patty's coming?
I'll wait.
Okay. Live Oaks Committee, you got a report?
Hi, Beth Hudak from Live Oaks. So on July 30th, the Live Oaks board met and we discussed the scheduled events for the balance of 2024. We are going to have a coffee clutch on Monday, September 2nd. It's just going to be coffee and donuts. That is Labor Day, but we're going to go ahead and do it. So come on out and get your coffee and donuts. We are going to have a Live Oaks social on Tuesday night, September 3rd. Again, normally we don't, but we don't like 4 months in between our socials. And October is jam-packed full of events. So make sure everybody's aware and watch the activity site, because the Fall Festival, which is scheduled for October 13th, which is a Sunday from 1 to 5, it's going to be like the spring golf cart, but without the golf cart company being here. We will utilize the parking lot on the gazebo side, and we will open the option to move it indoors in the event that we see inclement weather scheduled. So we will make all those arrangements in advance. We will be having music on the lake back on October 22nd. We have that under contract, and that will be, of course, weather dependent again. If somebody wants to dance. So the most important thing for your board is the holiday open house. I got quotes based on 400 persons, and I got 3 different quotes as reported. Publix would be $5,784. Besh Catering would be $8,225. And Maggiano's catering would be $7,882. And as I reported, it's a mixture of different types of food, but it's only handheld foods. And it does not include any beverages, silverware, plates, or anything like that. As we all know, the price of groceries is astronomical. And so we just need to know if Tosca is wanting to continue with the holiday open house based on this pricing.
Yeah, I know. If you're talking, $5,000 at the least, and that doesn't include the beverages, the serving plates.
Nope. You're looking at $6,500 minimum, absolute
and a lot of work here.
And a lot of work.
For our maintenance and everything else.
Yes.
We haven't done that for the past 2 years.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, the last time we did it was 2021.
Yeah.
So a motion, want to make a motion, someone for the board on whether we want to do this or not?
Somebody else want to make it? I seem to make them all.
How much does Live Oaks kick in? We usually
That is usually the Tosca sponsors this open house, because they open it to the whole community, not just the Live Oaks portion.
Yeah, I understand that, but how much financially do you kick in?
They don't take in.
They don't.
This is all tax money.
Yes.
That's why I need your approval or not.
Oh, don't you have any money to kick in?
No.
So I make a motion that we discontinue the, holiday, what is it called?
Open house.
Open house.
Favor say aye.
I,
Opposed?
I'm opposed. You could be able to do something with 5,000.
and
Cookies or
to
something.
speak.
Eileen would charge for $10.
And would like to.
Dan, you have something?
There's a lot of people that look forward to that, but rather than you pay for it, why not sell tickets for it?
I have another option here, if they say no.
Okay.
Who said no?
Okay, they said no. So in lieu of that, we would like, Live Oaks will pay for having an extended Live Oaks social the first Tuesday in December, where we have our tree lighting of the gazebo. And we would come back inside then, and we will actually have a Santa Claus, and we will do a whole lot more than we normally do for a Live Oaks social. We have a menu that we figured out the pricing for, and Live Oaks can fund that unless Tosca wants to contribute. But we are willing to do that in lieu of having that open house.
Eileen?
Why doesn't Oscar pick something with that so you could do a little more?
Well, thank you very much. That would be great.
I think we should, it has to be voted on, and if we're not doing the holiday open house.
Well, give like folks some money that we could have a bigger tree lighting ceremony.
Okay, and on your agenda that I wrote up is that I would have a complete agenda for that function to you all by October 16th.
More elaborate.
Well, we do have a menu in mind, and it is much more elaborate than we normally do for a Live Oak social. Because we do want to have something for the holidays. And we go to all this work to decorate, and we're doing all the decorating outside, and we're going to increase the decorating outside. And now I was so excited that Jack said he's putting a plug out there, that we will have another plug. That would allow us to do that.
Well, I meant the food wise.
Sure.
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this time, why don't we say that the Tosca will contribute half?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you, okay, so we need to make a motion.
Need a motion.
I make a motion that the Toxa board will contribute, how about if we do, we'll match the contributions of Live Oaks for this event. Don't get nutsy on it.
No, you see, I have a number here.
She said not more
I
than
do.
$1,000
We're not gonna
on
do
the
more than
paper.
$1,000, so we're good.
Okay. We'll match the 1,000 that they have. We need a second.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next board meeting's the August 27th, and we will have a detailed agenda to you before your October meeting for the Christmas event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. Okay, Patty.
Patricia French Wiselet, 7024-13A06. It's been a rough month, so I will get these reports to you in writing. The first one is from Emergency Response. And it is a plea to all the residents, please do not drive, walk, canoe in standing water. Please, it is not clean. It is polluted, dirty, disease-infected water. We were away 1 week in July, and several residents told me the top of Ranch Road flooded, and they were driving through it. no reason to drive through it. We have a circle. All you gotta do is back up and go around. There is no place in Timber Oaks that you can't get to. All you have to do is turn around, and it's really, really dangerous. Please don't go through standing water. And that's all the committee has to say. Finance is doing very well. We did have our meeting. There were only a couple of questions that Sue managed to answer. And we're going on. We're a little concerned about the amount of money that's at the attorneys. The amount this month seemed to go down for the first time in a long time. And the delinquencies are high. We're still catching up with people that pay once a year, but that needs to be pursued. The idea was on the 91st day, if a senior resident hadn't paid, the process would start. And the committee is concerned that maybe that process is not starting. Obviously, the family committees, it's $100, so that takes a whole lot longer. But the committee was just a little concerned about what's happening at the attorney and if the monies are being turned over. Obviously, we got a big amount, about $20,000, so that's good. But that's the only concern. And I would like to give a little report on Bill Heidenreich. He's been basically in the hospital since July. He was here, and then he went down to Moffitt, and now he's back here in rehab. He's doing very, very well and should be home soon, but I don't know if people realize why he wasn't at the meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
I would just like to add that the fees that come in, the majority of them, we've been having problems with Resource. They changed to a different system. It's just been a mess. So thank you to the ladies in the office who have had to deal with our friendly residents coming in about this, because it is very frustrating for them as well as our residents. So keep that in mind.
Just to let you know, what the girls have been dealing with is all the collection notices coming out of Resource because of delinquent fees. And then they come to the office and yell at us about getting a nasty collection letter. So that's what they've been dealing with, and they've been handling it awesome.
Thank you.
And I would like to compliment the Emergency Response Committee for the good job they did during the recent storm.
Yes.
Okay, next. Liz? Liz.
Was good. Oh, no. Was good now, fines and suspension. Fines and suspension were held, the hearing was held on August 13th. All those approved at the July board meeting. We had a total of 8 received. Of the 8, 6 were enforced and 2 were not. The corrections had been made. Fines were $50 a day up to a max of $5,000. Question?
No?
Liz, the ones that weren't enforced, did they
corrected them.
They corrected
Yeah.
the issues?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Just to let you know something, part of that new statute that came out also changed the finding process quite dramatically. We had to customize our finding letter. Deb and I actually spent a little time on the phone going back and forth with the attorney in different drafts of the letter, where he finally came back and said, perfect. But one of the catches there is the finding committee can say, yeah, we're going to enforce it. But if they fix it within the next 30 days, even after the fines pass, fine goes away.
That's good. We're not here to make people pay. We would just want you to, follow the rules and fix the problem. So.
Voluntary compliance.
Right. Okay.
All right, fines and suspension.
Before we do that, under unfinished business, we didn't have anything, but we made a motion last meeting about the age restriction, and I think that needs to be corrected. Am I correct?
Yeah, Jennifer had
Jennifer made a motion and Jennifer is technically board member for Driftwood, so something like this, which affects the senior citizen area would have to come from a different board member. Okay.
Okay, so do we have a board member that wants to make that motion?
No?
Donna?
Okay.
Make a motion that we accept the change.
On the age restrictions, I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion was to restrict, admission to the clubhouse, the gym, the pool room, put
All
signs up,
facilities.
18 or older,
18 or-
unless supervised by the senior person that they're visiting. So you just can't send your grandkids up here and say, have at it.
No discussion?
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Nice.
Okay, fines and suspension information.
Okay. I make a motion that we fine the owner of 8730 Woodcrest Drive $50 a day for offense that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion that we move to fine the owner of 8819 Woodmont Lane $50 a day for landscape maintenance that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to fine the owner of 8616 Gold Pine Drive $50 a day for maintenance. What does that say? A lot. Sorry. Maintenance of the lot that is in violation of the Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to fine the owner of 10530 Farnham Court $50 a day for maintenance of the home that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to fine the owner of 10631 Salamanca Drive $50 a day for maintenance of the home that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to fine the owner of 10733 Footprint Lane $50 a day for maintenance of the home that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to fine the owner of 10733. Wait a minute. I already did that one.
Just did that.
Sorry. Move to fine the owner of 8727 Benton Drive $50 a day
Second.
for maintenance for maintenance of the home that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 10623 Mira Vista Drive $50 a day for mailbox maintenance that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 10627 Mira Vista Drive $50 a day for mailbox maintenance that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Move to find the owner of 10627 Mira Vista Drive $50 a day for maintenance of a lot that is in violation of Tox's covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
That concludes the fines and suspensions. Moving on to.
Are we doing anything about this?
Oh, I'll get that. Okay, we have pool rules sign. Must shower before entering pool or spa. This is open to discussion. We used to have that on the sign out there that as a pool rule, but we found that the county does not require. It requires we have a shower, but it doesn't require you have to take a shower before you get into the pool. So we took it off the sign because it wasn't required. Now, I think it's common sense that if you got a bunch of oil on you from suntan lotion or whatever, that you should shower before you get in the pool, but what do you think? Do we need to put that back on the sign?
Jack, did you put this on?
Yeah, I brought this measure up because if you go to the tile in the spa and the tile in the pool, Mark, every day, every other day, you're having to clean the tiles. And all the research I did on the internet is that they highly recommend showering before going to the pool. But like Ed said, county code says you got to have a shower, but you don't have to use it. Well, every place I've read, and it's for hygiene purposes and for everybody's health and safety. You know, when you get in the pool, you can have makeup on, hair products on, like I said, suntan oil, whatever. And that rubs off in the pool, ends up on the tile, mixing in with the water, plays with chemicals, greases up the tiles, also causes the more frequent cleaning of the pool pit filters, which get gummed up as well. Yes.
I'm just afraid that if we start taking off like this rule, then they'll be saying, okay, well, we don't have to have a shower. So why can't we have a drink of water out by the pool and they'll have their water bottles and everything else?
We don't have this rule.
Oh, so
We
we're
took
going
it
to
off
add it.
already. We want to put it back.
Yeah, I think we should put it back.
Eileen?
Is that shower working?
Yes,
Yeah, great.
it's even got hot water.
Yes, it does.
Broken half the time.
If you want to say something, can you come up to the mic? If you have a problem, we can bring the mic back to you. Okay. My opinion of this is we have so many rules out there now, we get complaints of. I'm out there, anytime I'm at that pool, I have got to say something to someone. It comes to the point that as a board member, you don't even enjoy going in the pool because people are eating, people are doing this and that. This was one rule we didn't have to enforce. And I'm sorry, we're adults, and I know that doesn't count for much in certain areas, but I would still prefer not to add the rule back in. My opinion. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I go to water aerobics 3 days a week, so I'm in the pool all the time. I mean, unless you're gonna shower, put soap and clean, just rinsing that water off isn't gonna take the dirt off. I'm sorry. I realize that it would be a problem, but you could stand there all day and watch these people. They're not gonna get clean. So it kind of just is part of having a pool, in my opinion. I don't think making it mandatory is gonna make anything any better.
And I will confess that when it's cold and you gotta get under that shower, it's a quick walk there.
Well, and that's true. We had to eliminate the use of soap and shampoo because someone slipped, so we can't use that. So I'm afraid just a sprinkle of water isn't going to keep the oil off you.
Well, I'll have to disagree. I just read that they did a study, and when, by taking a shower like that, just rinsing off, you eliminate 70% of the contaminants that are on your body.
Thanks.
I got one thing to say about the shower, is we've had problems with the push button. And I was out there one day and I had actually called the number that was on the thing because it was running like all day. Is there any way they can put like emergency shut off? So if there is something like that, somebody could shut that off, because then you wouldn't have to call somebody. And until I found the weekend, is usually when it happens. It also seems to happen during the week, on the weekend. And I don't see why they can't put a shut off. And put right on emergency shut off. Only use when it's not shutting off. Because it's happened quite a bit, and I don't know what a widow bill is, but I'm sure it's, doesn't help by letting that happen.
Right. We can look into it. We'll look into that, Dave. Well, Jack will look into that.
Any other comments?
Mark will look into that.
We have a motion?
Does anyone want to make a motion to add this back to the board out there?
I don't.
Seeing none, we will move on. Okay. We had one letter of correspondence. And this is concerning the acoustical tiles in the ceiling. Which, I don't understand this myself, because I thought acoustical tiles lasted forever, but it seems that this person stated that the acoustical tiles that are worn out and they're not keeping the sound down.
I have no knowledge of acoustical tiles losing their acoustical properties over any period of time, unless they get wet and fall down or somebody breaks them. That's it.
Okay, so you're talking about the panels in the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where this person got their information, but I don't think there's anything we want to do about that at this time.
No. That's a lot of work and a lot of money.
I honestly don't think it's the acoustical tiles. Let's face it, when you're here for a dance or anything out, that music is blasting. And we have already gone up and asked them to turn it down, and some of them just won't do it, you know? So I would suggest that if you have a problem with that noise, the porch is always open. And even if there's tables and chairs in here, you can request a table out in the porch and that will be done. And I know quite a few people do that because they would like to speak to each other during that time. So that option is there.
Okay. Any other business before the board? This meeting is adjourned. Open forum is available if anyone wants to address open forum.